Good afternoon. My name is Rodney Wright, and I am a principal at Belen High School here in Belen, New Mexico. We're a very rural school just south of Albuquerque of about 1,100 students. Just finished my third year as principal at the high school. I've been with the district for 5 years, and came out of athletics. Been in education now, finishing on my 22nd year, and really, kind of excited about some things we're doing at Belen High School. We like a lot of other people, have gone out and trying to research in ways that we get better at what we're doing, trying to improve our graduation rates, our testing, trying to get our kids more involved and more engaged. And as I stated, we're a rural district, so a lot of our students come from actually outside the city limits of Belen, and some of them travel as far as 15, 16 miles to get to school, depending on where they live within the district. We started looking at how we could improve things. Coming in, like all districts, we're struggling with math and reading, and also just with our graduation rates. When I came as principal 3 years ago, graduation rates were hovering around 56, 57%, 58%. And so we were trying to say, how can we get that done? Certainly a lot of new, I don't want to say challenges, but certainly changes that have come about regarding assessments and graduation requirements and those types of things even here in New Mexico. So we started looking. We started, what could we do? And some things we came up with, and to kind of jump ahead real quick. This past year, they released graduation rates for the state of New Mexico, and Belen High School had the highest rate increase of about 15.3%. So we went from 58 to 72.5% as far as graduation rate from the previous school year. And we like to think that it's attributed to some of the things that we've brought on and with the admin team and our teachers, because it wasn't just my effort. It was an effort of all of us. Some of the things we did is we went out, like I said, we went out and kind of stole some ideas. One of the biggest things we stole was actually out of Florida. Westport High School went out and visited with Jane Elspelman. She was Administrator of the Year, and they'd instituted a power hour type program in which they used their hour-long lunch to reach out to students to provide additional opportunities for interaction. And we came back, brought that idea back, went to a single lunch. Teachers have office hours for 30 minutes of that lunchtime. And what it did is it allowed us to reach out to students that would not be there after school, because most of our students rode the bus. And so we had a way to kind of capture them. And so during that time, what we were able to do is that students were able to come in, have additional interactions with their teachers. They could make up tests, they could get homework, they could meet in their clubs or groups. We'd have outside organizations come in and meet with our seniors, for example, like colleges, and doing those types of things. So what it did is it lessened the amount of time that students were coming out of the classroom. So we were really trying to focus on more instruction time, keep them in the class. The other thing that we did, I think, and I like to see, three components of our success. So that was one component in working. And once again, that was an idea stolen from somewhere else. We call it Eagle Success Period, and the teachers have really fallen in love with it. We'll have it our third year coming up. We're hoping to continue to see improvements and so forth. The other area is that recognizing our students at an early stage in high school. We have a mentorship program where all freshmen coming in have a mentor that is either a sophomore, junior, or senior student. And so it's just kind of show them the ropes, ask questions, touch base with them at least weekly. How are you doing? How's your classes? How can I help? Even to the point that if students kind of get into some minor trouble, bringing those mentors in and having conversations, with the mentees. We think, that's been a great deal. But as far as recognizing our students early, is that knowing and understanding right away those students that might have challenges when it gets to graduation, and knowing what those are, and recognizing that, and working and reaching out to those students, be it through our counselors, through teachers. We have grade level, what we call grade level advisory type groups, where teachers they take on, for example, all the freshmen. They'll report once a week to one of a freshman level teacher just to check grades and attendance and so forth, but recognize early what they're doing so we can keep them in school and keep them there. The other thing is, which I think is huge, is creating relationships. like I said, we have such a diverse group of students. In our, we have your traditional students. We have the students that are coming from non-traditional homes. We have our English language learners. Our county is really a very, very poor county, and so what we've done is we've reached out to, even though all students, I think all students are at risk in one way or another, but we really reached out to the students that are the biggest risks and have the biggest challenges in the way of getting an education, getting that diploma, getting there for testing. And what we've done is we've created a meaningful relationship, with those kids. And the reason why I think that that's been a big is that we actually saw a 20 and a 22% increase in graduation rates with our English language learner students and our economically disadvantaged students. And I do believe that is because of the relationships that we've created, and the expectation is that all students are important, all students can learn, and that we focus, no, I don't want to say focus, but we recognize those students that come from those more challenging situations, and really just making them feel that they have an opportunity. Working through the testing, providing safety nets for our students, making sure that we're, because the testing is a big part of it as well. If they're not there and they're not sitting, they're not attaining the assessments that they need. We go out, and almost kind of in the metaphorically speaking, we kind of grab them by the hand and say, you know what, you need to be in this testing room, or you missed that day, you got to get in there and get your testing made up. But also, like I said, just providing study sessions, for our end of course exams, review sessions to review contents and standards for the park and the SBA. Just a lot of little different initiatives and things that we have done, to promote and get our students to where they need to be. And this coming year, we're going to continue with our Eagle Success Period. We're continuing with our mentorship program. We're continuing with our grade level advisory opportunities. We've structured our class schedules to kind of match up with our local community college, so that those juniors and seniors that don't have full schedules can actually complete a schedule at the high school, and then in the afternoons or even in the mornings, depending on when they fall, they're traveling out about 10 miles, 12 miles to the community college, take classes out there. So, just once again, providing, additional opportunities to get our kids involved, create those relationships and value with what they're doing. So we feel that that's been very successful. We're hoping to continue that success as we move forward. Because like I said, we were at 72%, still not, still room for improvement with our graduation rates. And certainly, we're looking to improve always with our math and our English, and making, like I said, making sure that we're student focused. And that's been probably the biggest transition in the 3 years that our team has been in the admin there at Belen High School, is making sure that all of us, all our staff, anyone who comes in contact, understand that our number one priority is our students, and working on that focus.
Where are you from?
Originally, before, I from New Mexico originally. I been in Belen 5 years, but I also taught and coached for 7 years at Artesia High School down in Artesia, New Mexico. 8 years at Mescalero Apache Schools, which I have to tell you is, probably as an educator, I once again talking about those relationships. The 8 years there probably sometimes very challenging, lots of struggles, but probably the most rewarding and the most influential on my time as an educator. Because once again, when you're dealing with students that have a lot of challenges, have extremely diverse backgrounds, the fact that they show up to school, we got to take as a positive. And like I said, the 8 years that I spent at Mescalero Apache Schools changed me immensely as an educator, and really did bring my focus, into, student. What is best for the students? What are we doing to keep them in school? What are we doing to make them important? And then, like I said, really transforms me as an educator. And then, of course, 1 year at Tularosa Schools. And then, like I said, I've been now at Belen Schools for 5 years. And so, been in New Mexico just about all my life. Everything, small amount of time in Texas as a youth and stuff. But certainly New Mexico is home. And, like I said, I think as educators, if I could say, I know as principals, we're always, when we interview teachers, one of the questions of why would you like to come to work for us, or why do you want to be a teacher, or why do you, and you always get that same response. Well, I love kids. And I know I've talked to principal after principal after principal. If there was some way that we could come up with a test to see, if you truly love kids or not as an educator. And I think I found that way. I think that the truth, I think every teacher should at least 1 or 2, maybe 3 years, and very early on in their career, teach at in a situation or environment where you're working with kids with lots of challenges. Like I said, on the reservation, inner city, in a non-traditional type environment, because you're going to find out real quickly if you're there for kids, because a lot of the teaching that you do goes beyond the ABCs or the theories or the being able to write a paragraph, and it really transitions into creating those relationships of concern, sincere compassion, and I think you find out. I think that's a great test of whether you truly love kids or not, because when you're in those environments, it goes so much beyond just the general education that we're doing and learning. It's like I said, it's getting to know kids.
Well, thank you, Rodney.
You're welcome. Thank you.